Happy evening, everyone. Wonderful, wonderful to see you out there. Lovely to see some of you on camera and some of you are hiding behind the camera. Would love to see all of you on camera and let's greet each other with a broad, beaming smile. And as we are into this Happy Brain Miracle Masterclass, I'm sure all of us, we are ready to learn something and apply something in our life to change the quality of our life. Wonderful, great to have your presence. And as we move forward in this session, before I proceed, am I audible? Can you hear my voice? Is it coming all good? Is it clear? Yeah, thank you, Shubham ji. Thank you, Satyan Sayantanji. Okay, welcome, Rajesh ji. Yes, thanks for the responses. So great to have your presence and all perfect. Thank you. So in this session, as we are going for 3 days, today, tomorrow, and day after, and we'll be learning something fascinating on happiness, how to change the quality of our life. But before getting onto that, let's all come with uh, some response like, where are you from, which city you belong to, and your name. That would be great to know. Just your city and the name you belong to. There, I put it differently. Your name and the city you belong to. So I can see Rajendra Kulkarni ji from Bangalore, Rajesh ji from Chandigarh, Biswajit from Guwahati. Welcome. Neha ji from Pune, Rahul ji from Pune, and then we can see Nilesh from Pune, a lot of Pune. Veena Jain from Bangalore, welcome. I can see Yogeshwari from Chennai, Manish from Kolkata, welcome Manish ji. Sayantan ji from West Bengal, Kerala, Sanoj ji from Kerala, Manoj ji from Mumbai, from Bangalore, from Hyderabad, from Amravati, Delhi. I can see Rachna Sharma ji is from Delhi. Lovely to see all of you. Rajendra Chaudhary ji from Mumbai, Falguna ji from Hyderabad, Rohit from Kolkata, welcome Rohit ji. Jayesh ji from Mumbai, wonderful. Almost like every part of the country is being represented. That's wonderful. From Uttarakhand, Shubham ji is from the Vicky Garg from Haryana. Welcome Vicky ji. Srinivas ji from Hyderabad. Lovely to have a presence. Great to see you out there. And as we are progressing 3 days journey of happiness, I am sure we are going to learn something. Not just that, we are going to change something within. That's what would be the best thing that we can do after completing this course. So great. I can see a lot many responses coming. Jaguri Dattaji is from Calicut. Welcome. Lovely. So let's get on and let me bring on the slide so that it can keep us on track and we learn as we go on, as per the schedule of this session. Lovely. Before I proceed, can you just quickly give me a response? Why I cannot see the chat? Some issue popping up there. Yeah. So can you now, are you seeing the screen and you can see me and my voice coming across? All good? If everything is right, AG for all good. If you can see me, you can also see the screen and you are getting the voice as well. Lovely. All of you can type all good. Yeah, great. I'm finding a little issue with, yeah, got it. So let's get on and we'll start. So Happy Brain Miracle Masterclass, again, formally welcoming you all to this 3 days session. And let's check, why is this masterclass? What's the reason we are here for? The reason is this: millions and millions of people on this planet, they suffer from these conditions: stress, anxiety, procrastination, irritation, guilt, shame, depression, lethargy, boredom. The list goes on. There are so many different varieties of negative, or what we call toxic emotions. So many people, they go through this. And one of the reasons why we are not happy, because we are having these emotions. But what is the reason for them to be there in our mind? As science suggests, the normal feeling is because of external situation. But largely what we have found out through research is this. It's our inability to train our brain to be happy. In spite of difficult situations, in spite of having challenges, many we have seen are happy people. But the reason why they're happy is their mind, how they have trained their brain to be happy. Do you agree with this? If you agree with this, just write A for agree. If you agree with this, just write A for agree. Lovely, 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 lovely to see that. Wonderful, wonderful, great. Fantastic. So now we want to know how is it a possibility, what we need to do so that we can train our brain to be happy. That's what we are going to learn in these 3 days. Now, idea is by default, we will see we are not getting into that, but by default, brain has a propensity to negative emotions. That means we are by default looking for negative things, challenging situations outside. Why? Because that helps us survive from dangers. That's how we have been brought up right through our generation, right from the time we have been evolved to the human species. We were there in extreme situations, and we could only save ourselves because of these alert conditions, survival conditions. You're very alert whether there's a snake, there is a tiger, or something is falling from the top, or there is an earthquake, something. There are so many challenges. So brain has been tuned to be in negative zone. And sometimes it is an extreme negative zone. Now, what we want to do here is do this. We shift this. I call it a shifting a gear so that we change this default condition to a more designed condition, which is calm, relaxed, organized, balanced, focused, and a joyful state of mind. That's what we are going to learn in this 3 days session. We'll have decent understanding about this, how to go there. Yeah. Lovely. Now, I have been uttering this word, science of happiness, and people often ask me, is there a science called science of happiness? Yes, absolutely. And this is an emerging field of science. In the last about 30 years, it has been growing and a lot of interest has been generated. What is this science? Where from the input comes? Primarily from 4 areas the input comes. One is positive psychology, a branch of psychology which deals in positive aspects. That's what is positive psychology. Cognitive neuroscience is a branch of neuroscience where they try to figure out what is it that is happening inside the brain, so I am expressing in a particular way. For example, if I'm speaking right now, something is happening in my brain. Some parts, there are different parts. One part called the angular gyrus, the Wernicke's area, the Broca's area, the somatosensory cortex, many parts. And some part of the which activates the throat, some part which creates the language. Every part is to be activated so that I can speak. Similarly, what happens so that I become very anxious? What happens so that I become very angry? What is happening inside? And what happens so that I can become very happy? That's what also is giving a lot of input and insight to this stream of science called science of happiness. Then behavioral economics, a branch of economics, typically the psychological aspects of economics. Why people want money? What is it that repels people from let's say, taking a position or a typical location? Why they want this color, this thing, why they want that? What they trade with. So their mental aspects towards getting things and towards seeing value in things. And the fourth one is the Eastern meditative wisdom or Eastern wisdom about consciousness. This is one of the best things that has happened in scientific domain, because now science of happiness has been doing research on many things that have been created at this very land. So they are doing a lot of research and finding exceptional validation of the processes that all our ancestors had created for keeping the mind calm and cool. And now they have been documented how powerful are these processes and practices. Yeah. So this is the in brief about science of happiness. And they also, by science of happiness, it's not just about knowing things, it's about changing things. We can now measure what is that is happening inside, which is causing this anxiety, worry, depression, all this guilt, shame, fear, anger, and how we can find them and eliminate them and change them so that our happiness set point, as they call it, can grow further. So that's essentially the science of happiness. I call this science an empowering and fascinating science. It's a very fascinating, very interesting science, and it is an empowering science because it empowers us to become happy. It empowers us to change our behavior, to change our mindset. So I call it fascinating, empowering science. Let's all of us write on the chat box FES if you resonate with me, that this is a science where we can understand what is my happiness level and I can change that happiness level. Let's all write FES on the chat board. Yeah. Great, great, great. Lovely, lovely to see your responses. I would love your responses. I need a lot of energy and your love so that we can go together with a lot of positivity through the entire 3 days. Lovely to see that speed coming in. Fantastic. Now, having shared that, now let me come to this. My story, quickly in nutshell. Would you like to know how I have come to this field of the science of happiness? My story. Actually, I was never trained initially about this, on this. I had my engineering degree, my MBA degree, joined corporate, and it all started when I joined corporate in 1993. And as it happens in a corporate, a lot of fighting, a lot of challenges, a lot of things you have to do. Although I was in a public sector, but still, the challenges were always there. And at the age of 28, I had blood pressure. I had to take medicines for blood pressure. I was having stress, some kind of anxious feeling at times, and so much so that things even got further worse. And I had high cholesterol, high body weight. For my height of about 5 feet 6 inches, I was almost 93 kilograms of weight. All these things were keeping me in a very bad mood. Sometimes I was not able to get right kind of mindset to work properly, having a lot of internal restlessness. And this thing, I never knew why happening. The reason being, I was getting good amount of money, having a beautiful family, loving family, having so many things good outside, but still inside somewhere it was hurting. And I was feeling a little shallow. In 2008, something happened. In 2008, in the month of October, I had been to Jim Corbett National Park on a pleasure trip along with my family. And during that trip, because of a miscommunication, me and my son, we are lost in the jungle. And we are stranded on a dry riverbed. And as things would happen, things got worse. And the tiger was there. A tiger was there hardly at about maybe less than 50 meters from where we were. Believe me, I was thinking that it's the end of my story. It's end of everything because um, it was evening and everything was like the tiger was there and we were stranded out there. But for some reason, my mindset changed. There is a change in my mindset in terms of I became a little cool, calm, and could respond in an appropriate manner. Because of that, at the nick of the moment, we got saved. At the last moment, somehow we got rescued by the rescue team. And that moment brought in some kind of thought in me that I have to understand the mind more, because it was the mind which saved me on that day. And I wanted to explore into the domain of science, explore into the science of spirituality, I would say, into the domain of spirituality and life. And then on, and after coming back from Jim Corbett, I almost read like 66 books in 1 year on mind and science and cognitive neuroscience and spirituality. And from that time onwards, my only urge was to get into more and deeper into this space. I chose to change my career from marketing to learning and development. I came to the training as a corporate trainer, coach, and mentor, worked with more than 10,000 people, being part of a corporate, one of the huge uh, corporates where there was Management Training Institute, and I was a faculty there. Later on, I became the head of academics there. And during this time, when I was in that Management Training Institute, we collaborated with IIT Kharagpur in the area of science of happiness. And IIT Kharagpur is the premier institute in the country to have the Science of Happiness Center. Worldwide, there are many like Harvard, Princeton, Yale, Oxford, Cambridge, Toronto, all these universities. Now, almost every big university, they have Science of Happiness studies. And IIT Kharagpur is the only premier institute in the country where they have this. And I had the privilege to learn from some of the top experts, including Dr. Samru Chetri, you can see the picture out there. He is the first and the founder, executive director of the Gross National Happiness Center at Bhutan. And I had the fortune to learn from him. Not just that, we also collaborated with him where we conducted joint retreats and training programs, wherein in one of the first program itself, Dr. Samru Chetri had mentioned this. And I was feeling so humbled by these kind and wonderful words by him, where he said that Sandip is a great teacher of happiness and mindfulness. I witnessed his teaching at Netherhat and was not only impressed, but learned from him, coming from somebody who is regarded as one of the most respected figures in the domain of science of happiness. So it was his humility to write that for me. And then I had a mission in 2020. I chose to leave corporate and start the Academy of Unlimited Mind with the purpose that I will help more and more people on this planet to smile, to know how to change their mindset by applying the deep techniques which can change them from inside out. And that was my story. And by this time, we have already crossed 10,000 people on the online mode. I'm not counting the people who were there in corporates. And this is going great. Lot many like you have been joining us. My sincere gratitude for you to join us. And let's make the best use of this and change ourselves and help others also be happy. With that thought, let's come to the course outline. And the course outline, please be very attentive. And this course outline, let me share it. I'm unable to see there is some glitch in the system, so I'm unable to see your messages when the slideshow is on. So I had to intermittently close it and check it from the message box so that I should not miss anything on there. Now, course outline is day 1. Today, we are going to learn about this, the history of the negative mind. That is the human trap. We'll talk about something called the human trap based on neuroscience. Here we'll understand what is it that causes negativity in us. And then we will do one simple yet very powerful practice, which will help us overcome the challenges of mind immediately. And we'll understand that on day 3, why it happens, why that works, that technique works, right? This is day 1. Day 1 is about knowing why the mind is negative. It is more about awareness. Tomorrow, we are going to learn more about the mind, structure and nature of the brain, and how it mediates the mind, and what is mind, how mind creates us, and how we suffer or we are happy because of the mind. That's what we're going to understand. And tomorrow, as we are going to unfold the miracle formula, I call it the central day of the workshop or the masterclass. So there we'll understand the science of the miracle formula and how it can change our mind and it can change our life as well. Day 3, That is about the day of implementation. Whatever we have learned today and tomorrow, we are going to implement and change certain things within us. And day 3, we are also going to reveal the what I call a roadmap so that you can take it further. I'll give you a roadmap or a template for 21 days for you to do the practices, which will help you make your life better and beautiful. Day 3 has got few more things to do. So today and tomorrow, the time is roughly about 60 minutes to 70 minutes. So we'll go maximum up to maybe 8:45. But day after tomorrow, it will be a bit longish because of two reasons. One, we have an advanced course. So we'll give you some input about the advanced course. And that's, of course, purely voluntary. Any one of you would like to join us, you are most welcome to join us. And the second thing that we'll do on day 3, that we will have a Q&A session. That means any question, anything that you have in mind, you will ask me and I will answer that. You can come on mic or you can write it on the chat box so that we know what you want and we can help you on that on day 3. So it will be about 20 to 30 minutes. So day 3 time would be more than 90 minutes. It can go up to 100 minutes. So this is overall the course outline. Is it clear? If it is clear, just write CC. CC stands for crystal clear. Day 1, that is today, we are understanding what is that which is causing unhappiness. Tomorrow we'll see how we can make ourselves happy by applying the miracle formula. Day after tomorrow, we will apply it in the class itself, how to implement that. It is about implementation. What we call audit and edit the mind. We'll see what is happening in the mind, which is some error or something wrong happening in the mind, how we can edit that. That's what we are going to do on day 3. Great. CC is crystal clear. And day after tomorrow, we are also going to have the bonuses. We'll share the book with you and other bonuses which we have promised in this masterclass. Lovely. I'll again take a quick look at your responses. Great. Lovely. Now we are again starting the central theme of today. Now, again, this is something we all would agree that our responses vary. Under the same event or setback, rather challenging event, some people will find are very calm, composed, and they are organized. They respond in a matured way and bounce back also very fast. Whereas some people are very agitated. They get very panicked under a challenging situation, feel torn from inside, very restless, and they cannot also bounce back fast. Do you see? Do you agree with this? Two individuals, same situation, but the response is so different. Somebody is completely shaken and someone is so confident and handling that in a matured manner and bouncing back from that situation with ease. Do you agree with that? Just write A for agree. If you agree with that, yeah. All of us, we would agree with that, right? Lovely, lovely, lovely. Fantastic. Fantastic. Great. Brilliant. So now the issue is why this happens. And I will take you a little further. The little further thing is not even two individuals, the same individual under two different mind condition, mental state, you would find these two things would happen. Under one state of mind, you will be completely composed, organized, and responding in a matured and very settled manner. On the other hand, if you are in some state of mind, you're completely agitated and you're losing your balance and not able to respond appropriately. Does it make sense? Just write makes sense. MS for makes sense. Yeah. Same individual, two mindset, and you'll find the same situation. Under one mindset, you will respond in a very matured and very settled. Internally, you are still. Whereas on the other hand, sometimes you unnecessarily get panicked, angry, fearful. This happens. So the mindset or the mind state has something to do with this. Now, in today's session, we are going to find out what is it inside which causes this, and we'll see only there are 6 things. I would urge all of you to get ready to learn this, because this is a fundamental thing that we are going to learn today. It is called the human trap. Human trap. It is to understand the mind. What is it that is causing agitation inside the mind? So human trap is what we're going to learn today. It's an acronym. So we'll open one by one. What is H? What is U? What is M? And then we'll go up to E. Now I would urge all of you to be very attentive, completely present for this with all your attention and awareness. If you have a pen and paper with you, please start writing. Writing helps you remember as well. Take note of this so that you'll not forget about these things. Yeah. Now we are you all ready to go? Just give me a quick response. Write RTG, because I want all of you to ready to go for this. And yeah, RTG. So please be there for next about 40 minutes and we will understand the human trap. Lovely. Great. Now we will understand it not from the point of view of neuroscience. This is based on more than 500 research papers, and we are going to understand it from our experience, simple experience of life. So we'll start with H. What are these? Each one of them actually are responsible for our difficulty in life, difficulty in mind. We'll start with H. So H stands for holding on trap. Holding on trap. What is it? Holding on trap is our mind has a tendency to look back in life and remember something from the past and suffer because of that. It goes back to a past chunk of memory, brings it to the present and start ruminating on that, and we suffer in the present for a past event, past memory. It happens with everyone. Whatever I am going to share, it happens with every human being. That's why we call it the human trap. For some people, the degree is higher. For some, it is lower, but we can handle it. So human trap is remembering something from the past and suffering in the present. It is a miserable state of being. So many of us, we had bad past memories, and typically we remember bad memories. What happened yesterday, how the boss blasted at me, or when somebody cheated me in the past, I lost a promotion, somebody misbehaved with me. All these things, we remember that and suffer from that. So much so that, let me give you an example. I was conducting one workshop, and during the tea break, a person named Tripathi came to me and said, Sandip, I have been suffering from holding on trap for last 20 years. And the trap was, or the memory was, before 20 years, he appeared for the IAS interview. He was in the interview of the IAS, UPSC interview, qualified for it. And he was almost certain to get selected because he was doing exceedingly well till the end. At the last 5 minutes, in the last maybe 5 to 7 minutes, the chairman of board asked something and they had some heated argument, and so much so that Tripathi almost used some abusive language for the person. And the chairman smiled, saying, Mr. Tripathi, although you know many things, your temperament doesn't suit for this kind of service. So we are rejecting you right here. And Tripathi got shocked. That moment, it's still running in his mind for 20 years. He's a very senior executive in one of the big firms. He was almost like assistant vice president, AVP. And he was in tears, saying that, Sandip, every morning when I get up, this memory comes to me and I almost feel like depressed. And of course, later on, I helped him how to come out of that. But this happens with almost every one of us. Sometimes memories of yesterday, memories of last week, memories of last year. but these are things which make us miserable. So H is about holding on trap, and we cannot release that. We hold on to something and we keep it at such level that we suffer and suffer and suffer, and mind gets toxic. So holding on a trap makes our mind, makes our life miserable. If you understood what exactly I'm referring towards, just write holding on trap, that is H, makes life miserable. HMLM. Holding on trap makes life miserable. If you do not learn how to release that holding on trap, you will be suffering in that. Almost all of us, we suffer because we are holding on to something and we don't know how to release it. Tripathi had hold on to that memory and he could not release it. Later on, in fact, he succeeded. In the corporate itself, he did exceedingly well. He was almost tipped to become the CEO. I don't know later on whether he became the CEO, Chief Operating Officer, because for 2 years he changed his mind. He was letting him down because he was holding on to past memory, suffering in that. Yeah, great to see your responses. Now, that is H. Now we move on to the next one. So I believe all of you understood this, what I meant by this. That's the reason why you have mentioned HM, LM, makes life miserable. And now HLML. So now we are going on to the next one. It's called, this is like the mirror image of H. U is mirror image of H. It is uncertainty trap. When in holding on trap, something from the past is haunting us. Let me tell you, these are real life situations. Something bad happened in my past and it is going to ruin my present. It is human. We are human beings, right? So that past is making my life miserable at the present moment. Uncertainty trap is, in the present, I'm projecting a poor future, horrible future, and I'm suffering from that. It may be actually a situation. There is a possibility that I'll lose my job. There is a possibility I'll have some kind of a disease. There is a possibility that I may not qualify in the examination. I have not studied good enough. So this is causing some kind of uncertainty of future, and that is in the negative domain. So I suffer from that. Some people have got a tendency for this, especially in the last 2 years. Many unfortunate things happen in our society, on this planet. So many people lost their life. Corona came, and I have noticed this one was the most prevalent thing. Uncertainty has spiked to such levels. People are suffering. Most of the people who have joined me are having this uncertainty trap. What is it? We are projecting a negative future. Tomorrow there is a presentation, I will suffer in that. Day after tomorrow, I have some kind of a meeting or a board meeting where I'll be heckled. Or I have an interview, I will fail in that. Next month, I have an examination, I will not qualify in that. I may catch some kind of infection. I may die. I may lose my job. I may lose money. All these uncertainties are completely crippling our mind. And one thing is happening, which is very unfortunate. Because of this, we are creating a horrible future. If we constantly think that this will happen, negative will happen, actually the negative happens. So we are creating a negative future. Uncertainty creates a negative future or a horrible future. If you understood what exactly I mean by uncertainty trap, just write UCHF. Means uncertainty trap creates horrible future. If we are not handling this appropriately, we actually create a horrible future. We compromise on our immunity. If you constantly think negative future, your immunity will subside, because all the time you are in the survival mode, your immune system would not get sufficient bandwidth. We lose the creativity of the mind. We lose our energy. So all these things are required for creating a beautiful future. If you are crippling them, if you're pulling them down, then definitely we are creating a horrible future. Yeah. Yeah. Uncertainty creates a horrible future. Let's all be very careful about this, and we will see, learn how we can come out of it. What should we do so that we do not create that kind of an uncertainty mental state, and rather we are focusing more on how can create a beautiful future. Lovely. I hope you're taking note of all these things and understanding this so that we can be very clear what is it that is causing that disturbance in me, why I'm unhappy, what is the element that is making me unhappy. Moving on to the next. Next one is what we call me and my relationship trap. M stands for me and my relationship trap. One, we discussed about the past, which is causing havoc. One, we talked about the future, again, which is creating so much of misery. Now it's the relationship. Our life is also dependent on the relationships that we have, largely, hugely dependent on. If you have people who are loving and kind and compassionate, you will have a wonderful time. If you have tyrants around you, narcissists around you, people who are very angry, who are very control freak, naturally you will have difficulty. But more than that, also our mind has got something to do with relationship. Many people ask, you said it is based on neuroscience. What has neuroscience to do with relationships? Absolutely, they have got a lot of things to do with relationships. There are neuro pathways which actually leads to how we connect, how we receive, how we express, and that has many things to do with relationships. Here we are talking about three aspects of suffering from relationships. We suffer in three domains of relationships. What are they? One is we suffer in loving relationships. We love our children, we love our parents, we love our husband or wife, we love our brother, sister, friends. But see, we also suffer in that. Children, they say something and we are suffering. Husband, wife, they're there loving each other, but still suffering in that relationships. How they speak, how they talk, what happens, then there are fights, there are conflicts. We want children to do something and they do something else. They watch television, we want them to study, then suffering. Then they say something in a very ugly manner, we suffer. All these things happening, we suffer in loving relationships. Again, if you manage some of our neuro pathways, we can create that beautiful. So suffering in loving relationship is one. Then we suffer in hateful relationships. So many people we hate. I dislike my boss, my neighbor, in-laws, many enemies, so many people, we just can't stand them. They are in our life, and that creates toxicity, and that creates life miserable. We see, I have seen people who suffer and suffer, suffer and suffer because of their boss. There is a guy called Sanjay who joined us last year. He was suffering because the boss was actually the boss was a narcissist boss. He was a control freak boss and very dominant, very nagging. And Sanjay had depression because of that. Every morning he would get up and would not have any energy. He had blood pressure, stress, and whatnot. Later on, when he worked with us, I helped him how to come out of how to save yourself. Why should you unnecessarily get tortured by somebody else? So this is where he was suffering because of a hateful relationship. Boss was abusing him in meetings. He would give him bad ratings and put him in trouble. So suffering in hateful relationships. And the third one is called suffering in lost relationships. We lose many people in life because either they pass away, they have passed on, or they go away, like there are breakups. Or I have seen in recent time, I have seen lot of these things are happening, especially many people who join me are very senior, like in 60s and 70s and maybe 80s. Many of them, Their children are abroad, they're staying somewhere else, and hardly any time to talk to their parents, and they're too busy in their life. And these people are, they're almost like they lost that relationship. Very, very hard to digest. Somebody has died in the last few years. So many people died young, and they have left so much of this kind of pain, you know. So three kinds of suffering in relationships. We suffer in loving relationships, suffer in hateful relationships, and suffer in lost relationships. Can you overcome that? First, we need to understand that. Then, yes, there are ways and means how we can overcome that. Awareness has got a lot of power. When we see that I'm suffering because of this, then I know how I can come out of that. If you understood this, just write LHL, stands for suffering in loving relationships, hateful relationships, and lost relationships. LHL. Wonderful, wonderful. So we are halfway through this human trap as of now. Are you finding it interesting? Some value we're getting out of this? Are you getting some value out of this? Just write V for value. Lovely, lovely to see that. Fantastic. Lovely, lovely to see that. Thank you so much for your responses. And yeah, I could see a message saying just getting anxiety. We'll be talking about that. That needs few things. We will come to that on day after tomorrow, right? So please hang on, understand this. Please put all your attention. Please don't get distracted. My sincere request, unless we get to the root of the problem, it's very difficult to get out of that. So what we are doing, we understand what exactly is happening. I'm also going to give you a task to find out your trap. We'll give you a template where you can find out your trap. And then we'll find the power of coming out of it. Unless we diagnose, we'll not be able to treat that. In this case, you are the doctor, you are the patient, and you have the equipments to do it. You are the surgeon, you are also having the wound, you have to dress it with the scissors and all those tools and tackles. So please understand what is happening first, and then we'll do something which will help you come out of it. It's an empowering system. It's not something that you are being dependent on somebody. What we're doing here is empowering you to know it and do it for yourself, right? Lovely. Brilliant. Great to see your responses. I'm so happy that you are all there and responding fast. Now coming to the next one. It's called autonomy trap. Let's quickly understand this. Autonomy is what? Freedom. And who snatches away freedom today? My time, my job, my office, my responsibility, my family, so many responsibilities. Every now and then I do not have time for myself. I want something else I have to do. I want to sleep, but I have to rush to the hospital. I have to do something morning exercise, but boss has given me a task so that I have to complete it. The autonomy, my freedom has been snatched away because of the complexity, because of responsibility. And that is one of the reasons of our unhappiness. Let's say you are in corporate, and so much of time is being taken away by the corporate, by your job. 15 hours, including travel, you are there. Naturally, your autonomy has been snatched away, making you unhappy, feeling that I'm absolutely not in a state of freedom. Homemaker, somebody, a housewife or house husband, so much of challenges, right from the morning, preparing everything, children and husband or wife, and then going through the entire chores of the day. So again, my time has been snatched away. I feel like imprisoned. I have worked with so many people in the corporate. As I said, more than 10,000 people when I was in job, and later on, I think more than 10,000 people. And most of them, when I speak to them, they say, I feel like a slave in my job. And let me tell you, many of us, We feel like slave because I don't want to do that, but I have to do that. And that creates a lot of internal disturbance and causes anxiety, stress. All these things happen because we are feeling that kind of imprisonment. It's true for many of us. If you are finding this relevant to you, then you are in autonomy trap. Many of us would find that we are overwhelmed by the responsibility. So autonomy trap can also lead to our misery in life, unhappiness in life. Especially now, stress, anxiety, all are happening primarily on this. Oh, what will happen tomorrow? How will you do this? Uncertainty trap. Autonomy, so much of job, I cannot even think of that. I'm having autonomy trap and uncertainty trap and anxiety. Stress is autonomy trap mostly. Yeah. So if you understood this, autonomy trap, it takes away freedom. Autonomy trap. So ATF, autonomy trap takes away freedom. My freedom is not there. I cannot do what I want to do. I want to go to a movie or I don't want to do exercise. There is no me time. And nowadays we have to handle this. There are ways how we can handle that in spite of all these challenges, because it's about the mind. We'll learn that tomorrow to a large extent, right? Great, great. Wonderful to see your responses. Fantastic. All of you, please do respond. Please do take note so that we all make good use of this time that we're spending together. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Now coming to the next one. I call it one of the most important traps in our life. All of us, we want status. And this trap, I call it name, fame, status, position, even identity trap. What is my identity? Do I feel small, little person, or I feel confident and I feel value in me, worthy person? And this is a very important trap. If this is low, many things can go haywire. Let me share an example, unfortunate example. This is about the identity, how the identity is created. And if that comes down, it can create havoc inside. This is a miserable example to quote, but definitely it will help you understand. We see this miserable incidents so often on newspaper or news channels that somebody exceptional, brilliant boy or girl has committed suicide in a top institute like IIT, Indian Institute of Sciences, AIMS, IIMs. Why this happened? Brilliant chap, such a brilliant mind, but chose to finish life. Just let's look at the background of this boy or girl. Right from the childhood, she has been exceptional. Everyone around would say, wow, look at that brain, exceptionally brilliant. Parents, teacher, friends, a neighbor, everyone would say that, look at, he's so bright. Now, at some point in time, she cracks one of the toughest examination probably on the planet, gets into these kind of institutes like IIT, IISc, or AIMS, and then suddenly finds everyone is so similar. Out there, everyone is brilliant. So now it has come down. That status is no more there. The status has dropped. And not just that. Even at times, the teacher says, you are hopeless, you are a buffoon, you don't understand this, you don't have a brain, you cannot finish your homework, you cannot finish projects. And then they get into this sense that they are no more that exceptional identity, brilliant. Now the identity is a buffoon, as a fool, is somebody who doesn't understand, doesn't have a brain. When this status falls, when the identity is crashed, the brain almost signals like death of an identity, gives you the signal that as if you are finishing your life, death of an identity. It's when the status drops, it gives you that internal feeling that the identity is dying. And unfortunately, this is not taught in schools. We don't know how to handle that identity, how to uphold that identity. And it is possible just by training the brain, which many of us, we have not learned. So if you understood this, please write Identity is paramount. I say this name, fame, status trap is one of the most important. If you handle this, you handle many other things. Identity is paramount, means most important. Identity is paramount. IIP. Please do write IIP. Great, great, great. If you understood this, if you can handle this, people call this ego, identity, whatever name they give it. But if you can handle this, we handle 70% of our misery. We'll understand that tomorrow as well. Yeah. Now coming to the next one. We call it equality, unfairness trap. Equality or unfairness trap. And unfairness trap. What is it? Unfair, injustice. My life, so many things are unfair. I slogged the entire year. Somebody else got promotion because he was close to the boss. I did so much of studies, but I did not qualify because there were malpractice. All this happen in our life. Sometimes we also say, the nature, God has been unfair to me. I did so much of good things, but I lost something in my life. I did not get promotion. We start blaming even creation and nature. Unfairness. Mind again has a network which starts evaluating and seeing that this is unfair, that is unfair, this is injustice, and this is not good for me, this is not right. And this happens, this also creates jealousy, this creates so much of disturbance in mind when somebody else gets some kind of benefit. And when we are at the receiving end. I know, I'll give one example I had experienced myself a few years ago. I was standing in the queue to book a ticket, very long queue, and it was not moving. It's very slow. For almost 15 minutes, it has probably only moved for a couple of feet or so. And then suddenly we noticed somebody very powerful having 2 bodyguards. He chose not to be in the queue. As it happens here, just chose directly to go to the counter and then asked the ticket person to give ticket, and he got it and got away with it. I am fuming. I was fuming inside. I said, what nonsense. What is this happening here? This is bad. Injustice in this country. Nothing will happen. Start cursing myself and boiling and fuming inside. Then quickly I realized, what am I doing? The damage has been done. I did not protest because probably that was prudent not to protest at that time. But why am I suffering because of that? I chose a little kind of a logic saying that when I get some benefit at some point in time because I know something, somebody is known to me, I have a little privilege out there in some office, that time I never say it is injustice. I say, oh, I'm so lucky, so privileged that I know that person, so I got little advantage. But now I'm cursing. That cursing is fine, but why I'm cursing myself? Now, saying this is easy, but it is one of the hardest thing. Sometimes the injustice is so much, it's very difficult to digest. The unfairness is so high, so extreme that we cannot digest this. But yes, we can. We'll find out techniques, simple approaches by which we can tune our internal things, systems to such levels that we can handle this also. If you understood so far the human trap, and you can check everything that is causing a distress in the mind can be leveled under one of these traps. Any mind's misery can be under these 6 categories. Nothing else will be there. Some kind of anxiety can put it to uncertainty trap. It is because of uncertainty. Some kind of a depressed feeling, maybe because of a past memory, holding on track. I'm feeling agitated because I did not get a promotion, maybe for unfairness trap. I'm overwhelmed, so much of pressure on me. Autonomy trap. Money, I do not have money, I'm suffering. Autonomy trap. Money is giving me freedom to buy something. Here that has been snatched away. So if you understood this system, just write human, HUMANE, and this template we are going to give you. This is, let me tell you, this is a powerful template. Something which we are giving you for free. Just go through this, keep it with you. We'll be sharing the link of it. Just do it. Find out your predominant trap. Left side, we have given you again as a recall, what are the traps? Right side, give your each of the traps some number in a scale of 1 to 10, and you can use that like 8.5 or 6.3. So 1 decimal point you can go to and find out which is the predominant trap. We can start from that. This is a diagnostic tool, knowing that what is in my life which is causing this kind of a misery in my mind. Yeah, great. Yes. Now that's one of the tasks, as I mentioned. I could see all your HUMA. Yes, there is a question. What if I have 2-3 traps? My friend, we have not 2-3 traps. We have all 6 traps with us. Only thing is, which is high? We have to find out which is the topmost. We'll start from there. We have to handle all 6, no doubt about that. But yes, there'll be combination. As I already given you a combination, that I am remembering a past memory where there was a relationship issue. So it was relationship, me and my relationship, and the past memory. One of my friends, he was asking me, what is my trap? He lost a promotion. Now I said, you lost a promotion because of the boss. There was boss favored somebody. So unfairness trap. Now, because you lost the promotion, it is your status which has gone down. So autonomy trap. Because that had gone down, your freedom also has been curtailed. Why? Because you have to report to somebody who was your colleague. So your freedom has been curtailed, autonomy trap. For that, your relationship has been affected with that person, with your boss. So relationship trap, hateful relationship. Now there is uncertainty. Next year, will I get it? Or will he torture me further? Uncertainty trap. And you are remembering the unfairness. So all these 6 traps in one. Did you get that? But we have to find out what is the most thing. Then he found out it is about my status. When I go back home at home, I feel so unfortunate that people are looking at me and I am feeling like a small chap. So I said, yes, status is the number 1 trap. You have to handle that. Yeah, got it? Lovely. Fantastic. I love all of you are so engrossed understanding. And I believe you also are getting it, and you'll apply to that, apply these things. Now, I have something to tell you right now. What is it? In this course, our objective is to manifest our happiest version. Each one of us, we are somewhere. Now we have to grow further from there. And for this, just listening to my class, just understanding something is not going to help you at all. Let me be very blunt on this. It's not going to help you at all. Go through all the 3 days, some of the beautiful concepts that you'll get, that's not going to help you at all. It'll be 0 after 4th day. What will help you is your commitment to practice them, to know them, to think about them and apply them in your life. That's the only thing I would request you all to do. Please take charge of your life. Nobody will take charge of that. If you are not taking it, then you will have difficulty. Now for that, we have few tasks which will be given to you. One is the task which I just mentioned, that please take that template which will be shared in the WhatsApp group. Click on that template, you will get it. Rate yourself in each of the human traps. Take a screenshot of that and put it on the WhatsApp group. We will open the WhatsApp group so that you can put those things. Take a screenshot and put it so that we all know that we have done the task. We are also accountable to the group, as together we want to be happy, right? So please do that. That's one. And second, as I mentioned, we are going to do a very powerful practice right now. And for the next 5 minutes, we have to do this. For that, please get a paper and a pen. Please get a paper and a pen right now. And we have to do this during this session itself. It will take about 4 or 5 minutes, but it's such a powerful thing that it can really give you a lot of insight. We'll understand the science behind this on day 3. This is scientific. This is not some esoteric thing. There are things which are not known or seen by science, but here we can also see through the scientific aspect. Yeah. What is the task? I believe all of you are there with me. Now, what we are doing here, take that paper and a pen or a pencil, and you are going to write these things. What is the present problem that you are struggling with? Just write down that. Not an elaborate essay, maybe about 2-3 bullet points or 2-3 lines. What are those problems which are causing mental agony, pain, misery in you? And when you are writing them, in the bracket, write the trap which you attribute that situation to. Let's say somebody is constantly abusing you. That's M, me, my relationship trap. You have a bad memory, that's something you lost and that is haunting you today. Write that as holding on trap. You're feeling tomorrow there are some difficulty in your office or you will lose something. Uncertainty trap. You feel very low and your confidence levels are very at minimal levels. It's autonomy. It's about the status trap, or what we call name, fame, status. You're feeling so small. You're feeling like absolutely not having confidence, feeling low, not worthy. It's name, fame, status trap. If you're feeling overwhelmed, if you feel like you are imprisoned, you do not have a choice. All the time others are dictating the show or dictating the things and you are doing it. It's autonomy trap. Write that right now. When you're writing, you're completely understanding it at writing it. Knowing that, yes, this is the trap and I'm knowing it and I'm writing it. In bracket, I'm also putting it. That trap, the single word for that, single letter for that trap. And after doing it, after completing that writing, you have to get a ball, maybe a glass ball or something. Be very safe because you have to burn that paper. Take a matchbox with all safety. See that the fan is not on so that it should not fly around, and just burn that. Or if you cannot burn it, you have to tear it and put it at a place where there is water and it is going away from you. And when you are doing this, be very calm inside and tell to yourself that I have destroyed my sufferings today. When it is burning, just look at that. Look at that burning paper and tell to yourself in the mind, feeling very relaxed. Look at yourself saying that I have destroyed my sufferings today. What you have done, you have written it. I believe all of you are doing. Write it down and then put it in a ball or a place where you can burn it, and just watch as it is burning. Observe it. Feel that relaxation inside, saying that I have now destroyed my sufferings. I have taken charge of myself because I know, and now I have destroyed. You have identified and I have destroyed not the situation, not the trap. You have destroyed your sufferings. Yes, you're writing, I have destroyed my sufferings today. That's the task. If you could not do it and take a screenshot, rather take a photograph of it. If you're doing it, please take a photograph of that burning paper and put it again on the WhatsApp group. Below that, just write, I destroyed my sufferings today. That's your task. And let me tell you, it's a powerful process. And I'll explain scientifically what exactly happens inside when we are doing it. Right? Now, coming back to that, as I'm giving you this task, I want you to do these tasks. So those of you who are going to do it, I'm going to give you a gift. Every day, I'm going to give you a couple of tasks, 1 or 2 tasks. If you complete all the tasks, I'm going to give you a gift. Please do write G for gift. Write G in the chat box. If you want gift, please do write G on the chat box. And it's a fantastic gift. I want to see a lot of G's so that I can give you that gift. You are committed. The gift is I'll give you another book. All of you, only if you are completing the task. And Gokila is there. She's somebody who is very strict. She would check each and every day who are the people who have completed the task. And those of you who have completed the task, I'm going to give you this book as well. You're going to get my first book, that is the Happy Brain Miracle Formula. And this one actually is my first book. This I had written a few years ago, and this is a fabulous fiction giving you a sense of mind and life and neuroscience. So please complete the task. I'm going to give you this book only to those who are completing. I want to give it to everyone. So please do complete and please claim this. Please claim this book, right? Thank you very much. But before we conclude the session, I would like to know a few things from you. One, would you like to have the recording of the session? Because I know these are new concepts, little complex. If you want, write Y or yes, I'm going to share the recording in the same WhatsApp group with a condition that this will be a YouTube video. Please do subscribe to the channel, and please go, you can go through the other there are fabulous videos out there, and many more are being uploaded. Now we are regularly going to upload, so please do subscribe today. And my son is suffering. Can I do it on his behalf? Please do it. Yeah. Please do it. You can ask him to be part of the session as well. I always say, those of you who are joining, we are joining as a family. So your family members can do join in also. Yes. Great. So thank you so much. Now, coming back to one more question. How was the session today? Just in one word, how did you like the session? What was it? How was it? No worries. You can join and help him, rather, Ritaji. Yeah. Boom. Yes, excellent. Thank you. Thank you for wonderful, awesome, good, fantastic. It's good, awesome, excellent, fantastic, wonderful, like identifying using the human trap. Wow, insightful, great, excellent, awesome. It's really moving fast now. Crystal clear. Thank you. Insightful, very informative, excellent. But one thing I would urge all of you to write right now. Only and only if you are committed, we are going to get benefit of this. Please do write I see, that is I commit. If you are committed, nobody can stop you from changing yourself, transforming yourself, and bringing a new version of yourself to yourself. And you'll find life will become wonderful and fascinating. I have seen two versions of my life, how it was and how it is. We can all do that by constantly working. And it's a journey. It's a fabulous, beautiful, wonderful journey. Let's all of us commit and change ourselves. That would be the best tribute to our journey together through this session. Thank you. Look forward to see you again at 7:30 tomorrow. And before we close the session, let's all, for a moment, pray for the entire humanity, entire creation. So many people are suffering. Let's pray for them and pray for their happiness, and see to it that we can make more and more people happy in our life. With that thought, may God bless all of us, and we will meet again tomorrow at 7:30. Take care. God bless.